Hello there, this is Sam, and if anything, I am more sick than I was yesterday. I can't breathe through my nose at all, so if my voice sounds different or if I'm enunciating words badly, I really apologise because my nose is crazy blocked. Probably too much information there. Anyway, I'm still at home in England. I go back to California on Sunday, and I wasn't going to do a podcast today, but I just felt I should do, despite being a bit gross and full of cold. Anyway, let's get down to it. This is episode 24 of the VictorPrep Vocab podcast. Let's go. Let's get on with episode 23's words. Those were latent. Latent, that is usually describing a quality or state of someone or something. And it means existing, but not yet manifest, something hidden or concealed. Present, but not yet visible. Listless, that means lacking energy or lacking enthusiasm, means lethargic, tired. Circumspect, that means unwilling to take risks, cautious, careful, or wary. Inundate, that means to overwhelm, give someone too many things to handle, to overwhelm, overrun, or overload. Those were our words from episode 23. Now let's move swiftly on to the new words. Our first word is precipitate. Precipitate. That is spelled P-R-E, C-I-P, sip. I-T, it. A-T-E, ate, precipitate. It's a verb, and it means to cause an event to happen, usually suddenly or unexpectedly. Now, often this word is used when the event or situation that is being caused to happen is a bad one. So an example could be the invasion of Poland by Hitler in 1939 precipitated the start of the Second World War. So we used precipitate there because this event, the start of a war, was bad and undesirable, and it happened suddenly. So another example could be someone running across the road could precipitate a car accident because this is another undesirable outcome and it happened suddenly. It doesn't always have to mean a bad outcome, but generally when you use the word precipitate, it implies that something bad happened. Some synonyms are bring about, give rise to, trigger, spark, or provoke. One more example. Let's say you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, and your girlfriend or boyfriend sees you giving flowers to another girl. That could look suspicious, and so it could precipitate an argument between you and your girlfriend or boyfriend, because they think something bad is happening. A way of remembering that could be, if you know the word precipitation, precipitation means rain or some other type of thing like rain coming from the sky, like snow. So when you're being rained on, that is precipitation. So in a poetic sense, if you're being rained on, it could mean something bad happened. So precipitation, something bad happened, you're being rained on. You could use that to remember precipitate, which is something suddenly happening that causes something bad to happen. I hope that makes sense somewhat. Our second word is Aerie. Aerie. Now, Aerie, the word, we're not saying eerie as in slightly creepy or weird. That's E-E-R-I-E. We're saying Aerie. In a different sense, it's A-E-R-I-E. Aerie. This Aerie means a large nest of a bird of prey, usually, especially an eagle. Often Aeries are built high up somewhere on top of a tree or on a cliff. So yes, this isn't too complicated. It simply means a nest, usually up somewhere high, and usually belonging to a bird of prey, which is some sort of eagle or falcon. This word could also refer to a house that is built somewhere high up. So imagine someone had a penthouse or some sort of mansion built high up on a cliff. You could refer to that as an Aerie as well. In the movie North by Northwest by Alfred Hitchcock, there's a house in that movie that is built on top of the Mount Rushmore. That's it, Mount Rushmore. And it's perched on the edge of the cliff. And you could probably describe that house as somewhat of an Aerie because it's high up on a cliff and because it almost dangles off the edge of the cliff. So Google North by Northwest house and you'll see an image of what I mean here. You could remember this word by looking at the spelling and thinking that it is spelled similar to Aerie, A-I-R-Y, and sounds a bit like that too, Aerie, Aerie. If you have an Aerie, it's built up high in a tree or a cliff, it will be airy. There will be wind and air there. So if you imagine an Aerie is airy, that might help you remember. That is tricky to say, I have to say. Okay, next word. Word number 3. Ambivalence. Ambivalence. Ambivalence means, and I love this word by the way, I use it all the time because I'm often ambivalent about things. It means having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. What does that mean? Let's say you meet someone and you get to know them gradually, and sometimes you think, wow, I really like this person's great, they're funny, whatever. And sometimes you get this feeling that maybe there's something wrong with them, you don't like them as much, they have a darker side, or you can't quite work out if you like them or you don't like them. In that sense, you are ambivalent about that person. Some synonyms of ambivalence are doubt, hesitancy, uncertainty, unsureness. Another example of being ambivalent is when you have two things that you could do, and they're maybe opposite things, but you can't work out which one you want to do. You have some sort of uncertainty because at the same time you want to do this thing and you don't want to do this thing. So you want to go on a date with this person, but at the same time you don't want to go on a date with this person. It's this uncertainty and doubt. So in those times when you cannot make a choice between two things, and those things are opposite almost, you are ambivalent. You're in a state of ambivalence. A little clue in this word about the meaning is in the by part. B-I, by, often means two in a word, like bicycle, 2 wheels. So ambivalence with the by in the middle, if you see the by, you can say it means two things. So in this sense, ambivalence is you are feeling two feelings. You want to do this thing and you don't want to do this thing. So if you try and remember by, usually means two, and you're struggling to remember this word, just look for that clue by. And that gives you a bit more information about what this word might mean. Our final word for today is Gambol. Gambol. Now, don't get the wrong idea. I don't mean gamble as in place bets with money. That is G-A-M-B-L-E. This is Gambol, G-A-M-B-O-L. Gambol. This word is a verb, and it means to run or jump about in a playful way. To skip around, to run and make little jumps sometimes. Imagine the cliche of a lamb in a field, it's spring, the lamb is running and jumping and looks really happy. That lamb is gambling. Some synonyms of gambol are frolic, frisk, caper, cavort, skip, dance, leap, prance. Gambol definitely has this implication of happiness, of free-spiritedness, of a general joy. So anytime someone's very happy and they're running and jumping around and having fun and not taking it too seriously, that is gambling. If you see a couple of puppies who are in a really good mood and they're just meeting each other and the puppies are running around the garden and doing little jumps and hops and skips and they look so happy, they are gambling around the garden. Those were our 4 words for today. Let's do a quick review. Precipitate. Precipitate. That means to cause an event to happen, usually suddenly, and often it's causing a bad event to happen suddenly. Aerie. Aerie. That means a large nest, usually belonging to a bird of prey like an eagle, and typically built high on a tree, high on a cliff. Could also mean someone's house that's built very high. That's using the word in a more metaphorical way. Ambivalence. Ambivalence. That is the state of having two mixed feelings about something, or being unable to make a decision when you have a choice to do two different things and you can't decide. Gambol. Gambol. That means to run about or jump around in a playful, happy way. And now, finally, our test sentences for today's words. After my first date with Mary, I couldn't quite tell whether I liked her or whether I found her annoying. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand started a sequence of events that would eventually lead to the First World War. The vicious and secretive potentate had a secret base at the top of a mountain. My dogs love to play around in the garden on a summer day. They run and skip around madly. Those were our test sentences. I think you all know the words quite well now. Time to wrap up. I say this stuff every time, but I suppose I have to. Please send any feedback to me, sam.fold@gmail.com. It's really, really appreciated. Good or bad, whatever, it's fine. Just email me. Also, please, if you like the podcast, and I know that I say this every time, leave a review on the iTunes store page. This does make a difference. It encourages other people to get the podcast, also makes me feel good, and yeah. Sorry to ask for that every time, but it's at the end of the podcast. You can always switch it off before I get to this point. Also, please check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/VictorPrep learning. Like the page. Tell your friends if they're doing the GRE. Please do that. Anyway, I'm going to go and drink loads of hot tea and try to make my cold feel better. Thank you so much, as always. Good luck with your studying, and bye-bye.